My impression of this game was that I played it when I was like really young, and I was like, "What the fuck is going on?"
What? We've made it to that part of the game.
What part of the game?
I need both experience. I need both more card points and more life.
Grinding!
Oh no, we can't grind. It's not a thing. Like, it's not even a thing. Like, I've already tapped out my useful amount of materials here.
Well, shit.
So I have to go to the next world. And just kill everything.
So we basically,
I don't know what just fell out, but it fell.
like, out of the game.
Yeah, you watch that. I think it.
Oh, there it is.
Hey, cloud!
It's a cloud.
It's a 1.
It's a 1 cloud.
We're just gonna go sell that one. We don't use summons that are below, and even nothing below 3. I don't even like using 3s, but you know we're not at the point where we can use them.
Are you a skillful duelist, Sora? I summon 1 cloud.
I summon Exodia.
In defense mode.
You know, like, a few years ago, someone asked people playing, like, competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! It's like, what are your opinions on the card cards? We don't have opinions. They're not allowed.
Well, I mean, from what I understand, even if they were, they're not that good.
Yeah, apparently the modern game has so much power.
No, but it was just funny.
Hey, Blue Eyes, Chaos Max Dragon.
What about, what's that light dragon we have that was that, you had to fuse the, like, 3-headed blue eyes was the 1 card? Is that used competitively at all? I don't even remember the fucking name.
Blue Eyes, Chaos Max Dragon.
If you want to understand competitive Yu-Gi-Oh, you basically are going to delve into a world where if your deck doesn't win in like 3 turns, you probably lose.
Yes.
And you thought Pokemon had bad power.
From what I understand, you win in 1 to 2 turns, and if you haven't won in if you won by turn 3 when you draw, you're done. You just might as well fold.
I'm going to Synchro Summon. Synchro what?
Because, from what I understand, if you run Chaos Max Dragon, you won. Because the literal, from what I've seen, people have multiple cards that say, pull this card out of your butt, and then summon this card, and you'll ritual summon Blue Eyes Chaos Max Dragon, who nothing can destroy. Because it has a 5,000 attack point monster that says isn't affected by effects, and it basically says you have to kill it. Which means you have to have something that has over 5,000.
You can say fuck them if you have honest, but that's about it.
Or from what I understand, you can beat him with
because honest is the card that says fuck you if anything by combat.
But Buster Blader Dragon Warrior. Which I'm pretty sure was designed.
That Blue Eyes Dragon!
And then most of everybody's extra deck is consisting of the same cards that basically have something to do with removal of something that might be a threat.
Yeah. That Blue Eyes!
Or in preparation of something that might be a threat.
What was that one fusion thing even called?
I don't remember, but it...
And then there's True King, the Draco Slayer. Who got banned, I believe, last month. Or like last week. So no more True Draco decks.
Goofy was telling us
competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a mess. A lot of people think like competitive Pokemon's a mess, but that's at least...
It is.
Last tournament that I saw was a big whole thing about people playing Blue Eyes deck, and they were playing XYZ deck. Or not XYZ, they're playing ABC. Because ABC was the new hotness.
So Carter, let me put this up in front of you right here.
Okay.
Anything that is competitive must be balanced. If I told you that I made a fighting game, and the fighting game literally had 200 characters who supposedly played differently, but there might have been archetypes in there, what do you think the odds are that fighting game is balanced all the way through?
I've seen that argument before.
It's already imbalanced because we already have already have tier lists.
Exactly. So fucking low.
So, there'll be tier lists. And you know what? That already makes it technically imbalanced. But you could even make it to where, theoretically, you could say, if you're in this tier, or this tier, you're competitive with this tier. So you can basically say competition works on a tier-to-tier basis. Pokemon can technically work that way, but there's absolutely no way that you're using...
Thank you, Goofy.
Blossom.
And then you have Quagsire was the best counter for Kyogre.
Well, right. Well, I mean, sure, you can sit there and be like, well, this Pokemon can counter these Pokemon and this one. But you know what? That person has an option between 700 or like 801 Pokemon. But how many of those 801 Pokemon are actually viable?
Well, the count was like 827.
Well, we also have to get rid of anything that's not... we have to get rid of most things that aren't fully evolved.
Then we cut the number gets basically cut in half. Then.
Well, it gets cut by a lot. Because we basically have to say that most things that are used are either final form evolutions with some second form evolutions.
Are you ready? As far as I'm concerned, as long as we live in a world where Mega Rayquaza is the thing.
That's why it was.
There is no such thing as balance.
That's why Mega Rayquaza, if you're using Smogon rules, isn't even allowed in Ubers. It's just banned to its own tier.
Because they sent it to another dimension.
Dumb.
Because someone thought, hey, you know that one
I have a
thing
competitive Mega Rayquaza.
Because someone thought it would be a good
beaten
idea.
people with a competitive Mega Rayquaza.
Well, my thing is, as long as there are so many Pokemon, we can't sit there and say Pokemon is quote-unquote balanced.
But you then...
Because realistically...
But, like, you then have the tricky thing was, like, Pokemon, say, you know, you have something like, basically, Garchomp. Garchomp running around with Earthquake, if something...
Well, also not. So there's another reason that Pokemon competitive is a mess. And that would be my argument, is that EVs and IVs make Pokemon competitive a mess. Just because you have Squirtle, if you probably want to use Squirtle A, Squirtle B, or Squirtle C, which means hours of grinding to make these stats that you want, or just hacking them. Which, as far as I'm concerned at this point, is the sensible thing to do, because...
PowerSaves, bitches! I use one! I have no shame! I keep my sets! People argue that me using a PowerSaves gives me an unfair advantage, but my sets pass hack check.
Well, I mean, as far as I'm concerned...
It's because you're boiling down the process that can take months into 5 minutes.
It's kind of... I mean, I kind of see the point if you want to...
Process that
because some people want...
go,
well, I mean, basically, my whole thing about that is that was supposed to add to Pokemon's random aspect.
It's a mechanic.
It's in practice. It was a system that was basically like IVs, EVs by itself was literally just nothing more than something that was there to make sure that your Pokemon were better than wild Pokemon.
Yes. And IVs were to add extra mechanics to it, like nature.
Well, it was all supposed to be.
Well,
it was supposed to
because-
make Pokemon more random. It was never supposed to be something that was exploited.
Because, well, yes, with EVs and IVs and stuff, you can technically make the same Pokemon. In Generation 1, it is really easy to make the same...
Sean, it would be
Pokemon was the
more
way the
random
stack
if
growth
it wasn't
works.
for the fact that we literally have specific Pokemon that give specific IVs.
No!
Or EVs.
No, but they did that so it would be random.
Yeah, because let's face it, unless you know
That's the thing though, because basically, if I have a way of telling what IVs I have, and I kill a Geodude, and my defense goes up, I can tell that after I kill second Geodude and my defense still goes up, that Geodude gives me defense IVs.
But Brian, that would be at the point of somebody who's actually going to pay attention in Gen 1 to that.
Well, no, because you can't see that in Gen 1, because I don't even think that's a thing.
No! You know how Generation 1 does it?
Well, I think it's called something different in Gen 1.
It's a different name. You know why it's a different name? There's no limit, and it has nothing to do with the Pokemon you kill. It has to do with their base stats. It is a multiplier of base stats. So, if you slaughter Ditto, which Ditto has an even set of...
It has 80 and everything.
You just get a boost to everything. So just slaughter Ditto and you get an even symmetrical boosts. And all your stats basically cap based on their growth rate.
Honestly, in my opinion...
Generation 1 is broke because all your stats...
Here's my thing. End of that. My whole thing is that it's all well and good that people want to play competitive Pokemon. But you can't play competitive Pokemon with somebody who does not play competitive Pokemon. It's not a thing. To add to that, as long as IVs and EVs are a thing, that will never be a thing. And the only way that it could be fixed is if you literally get rid of EVs and IVs and make Pokemon stats set, or make them have a semi-random nature to them. But I don't think that's possible at this point because it's already what they try to do.
They're at least going
You
in...
would then also end up with the Generation 1 problem.
The thing that they're at least do...
There wouldn't be any stat game, period.
The Pokepelago and like Super Training was at least a way to rectify the EV part of it where you now have more control.
And bottle caps should have been a good idea, but they ended up bad.
Fuck bottle caps.
Who thought bottle caps were a good idea?
What's wrong with bottle caps?
Bottle caps piss me off because...
I'm not talking about them being hard to get. What I'm talking about was them as bottle caps. For anyone that plays Pokemon, you'll probably know and...
Carson hates bottle caps for a different reason, but I can...
Yeah, basically, for people that play Pokemon, you'll probably know about Hidden Power. The super short, simple way to explain Hidden Power, based on what your EVs are, is what...
IVs, not EVs. Get it right.
Same thing.
No, they're not.
I'm doing that to be an ass. Basically,
Get it right, Carson.
based on your IVs, that will change Hidden Power. It's a very convoluted system that I can't explain further beyond that. Bottle caps just gives you a 31 in IVs, but because it is an artificial 31, the hidden power doesn't change to it.
Wait, I thought it did.
Nope.
Wow.
Nope. My hidden power Pokemon that I made and put a bottle cap on are just as max as they would be if they didn't have the hidden power, and I get to keep it.
That is bullshit.
I have a fully maxed hidden power Mega Diancie. It is still rocking my hidden power of choice.
That is bullshit.
Hidden power bottle caps do not give you a better IV. They give you what your stats would be if the IV was 31. It leaves the IVs as they are.
Okay, but
so
that's the same thing.
It's more to describe, or Carson said they changed it. It doesn't. It's not changing the IV. It's just boosting your stats as
Right,
if.
right. I know that.
Same idea though.
But I mean, realistically,
But
that's the same thing. Or it's not the same thing, but you know,
It's the same.
effectively, it looks at somebody and says, "Now you too can fight your friend who spent 20 plus hours grinding his."
My problem!
In the grand scheme of things, all it does is give you stats that you wouldn't have had,
Which is
for the hidden power that you want, while also still letting you keep the hidden power that you want.
and you get the stats you would have, and the good. Okay, hold on. I will explain why I don't like bottle caps in a second, but I need to fully explain the logistics of the good in bottle caps and how they work fully in case people are confused, and then I'll explain my point. The way gold bottle caps, any IV that is not a 31, a gold bottle cap will make all the stats that are not 31 what they would be if you had a 31. A gold just makes all your stats the best they could be, but the IVs don't change. You could have a Pokemon that has 6 IVs of 0, as in the lowest IV possible on all of your stats. You use a gold bottle cap, you keep those 6 zeros, but it treats it as if your stats are 31. That's cool. Silver bottle caps boost one stat that you pick to be like that, but you can just keep using silver bottle caps on the same Pokemon, and it won't let you boost any bottle cap. It won't let you boost a stat you've already worked on, and silver are good using that hidden power rule of I want my Trick Room Pokemon, I want it to maintain a 0 in speed, but I need hidden power fire, so I'm just going to boost the IVs. Or like, it's a weird hidden power set where you've got fire in a convoluted way, and you're keeping a negative 0 on speed, and you don't boost it, you just use silvers to augment the other stats, which is cool. And by all accounts, bottle caps should have been a good way for people who were playing casually to get effects of IV breeding without needing to sit around and IV breed. And by all accounts, I love the concept of bottle caps. The reason I personally hate them is the developers, as if to be vindictive, made damn sure that they are too hard to come by naturally to a point where they are basically worthless for what they should be, which is easy competitive sets with less work. Because without cheating, to get, like, I use the PowerSaves, I have 900 bottle caps, because it's not worth the meticulous weeks of grinding to come to maybe 1 or 2 when I couldn't grind them enough in a standard game sense to use them on multiple Pokemon or teams, where in a lot of cases it would be quicker and easier to start trying to EV train and IV breed in that much time than hoping that you get enough shit and get lucky 5-star attraction tents that have a high chance of giving you a gold bottle cap. And my entire problem with the system is that I feel it's vindictive and counterintuitive to even the entirety of why you'd put a system like that in the game. What is the point of giving people convenient way to not need perfect IVs, and then that's one of the hardest things to come by? Especially since more facilities and game things than ever give you perfect IV Pokemon. When you SOS chain, you get perfect IVs and hidden abilities. And it's very likely. Legendaries come with 3 perfect stats set now. The only good thing a bottle cap is really good for at that point are just capping off legendaries, because most common Pokemon, you could, if you're, you know, not using a hacking tool like I did to gen in the bottle caps, how are you going to do coherent team building when you're going to spend months to get the bottle caps needed, unless you're just incredibly lucky? And that was my entire problem with the system.
From what I understand, there was actually a couple ways to get them really easily.
There was a glitch in the game that
I know people abuse the glitch, but there was another way that people actually had that was actually more legitimate, and it was that, now he was in the second game, but in the first game, there was a guy who would trade you bottle caps for shards. And you could get shards through Pokepelago.
That guy still exists, and
the only thing about that was it was kind of like it was equivalent to a phone game. You could like let the game sit for like half a day, and you can have
12 hours for 5 to 6 shards, and you need to trade him 30 shards for a bottle cap. And some people, and I never went to confirm this, said it's 30 shards of every color for a bottle cap. So essentially, he'll ask for 3 shard colors a day. So in essence, it's 12 hours for 5 to 6 shards of a random color. You need 30 of, say he wants red, blue, and green. So you essentially need 90 shards when the maximum you can get in a day is 6. You need 90 and he'll give you 1 bottle cap. I think they loosened it a little bit where he could give you more than 1. And at most that means in a week you could get 2 or 3. But think about, you're sitting there a week grinding bottle caps when now it's not easy to come by, but with perfect IV Pokemon, if you're sitting there doing IV breeding, depending on the IV Pokemon you have, you can get...
Well, I mean, realistically, at that point, I feel like in that sense, that it still works with the trade guy, because I mean, if you don't have time to sit there and do it, that's the way for you to like let your game do it itself, and you come back to it later and you get ball caps, which means the person who does not have time to sit there and grind anything can sit there and grind without having to do anything.
In some cases, yes, but then you're multiplying, while it could be really convenient and quick, the amount of time that's going into you waiting on that is my entire...
Well, but that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, I don't have time to sit down and grind SOS Pokemon. If I did that, I would just never play anything except Pokemon. I just can't stay interested in Pokemon that long. If I could get the other thing set up, I can literally just go look at Pokemon, you know, for 5 minutes and be like, okay, I got some ball caps.
And this is why a lot of people turn to things like a PowerSaves, because they...
Oops, wrong door. Where's the one I'm going to? Oh my god.
You gotta go around, man.
People call me cheap for...
And I mean, that's why when people say the word competitive Pokemon, that's when I'm the first person to say, ha! Competitive Pokemon.
I have competitive sets. Did I use a PowerSaves to save me some time? Yes. Are my sets 1-to-1 copies of what it would be if I put a little bit of time and energy into it? Yes. Do they pass hack check? Yes. You know why I did it? Because even though I have more free time than a lot of people, this lets you remove some of the more annoying aspects.
Respect for you. I mean, all I'm saying is that as far as that goes, I'm just the type of person to basically be like, I'm gonna go on Pokemon Showdown and we can play competitive on Pokemon Showdown, but you ain't gonna catch me trying to do any of that.
A lot of people use Showdown for the instant gratification and less.
Because it's a tedious, it's literally the most tedious thing to make competitive Pokemon.
Because that 4 was...
I have a Pokemon X game card with a 999 hour, 59 minute time on it, and that is from me making competitive Pokemon. So I know...
What the hell are you doing?
What do you mean?
He's turning weaker cards into points to try to buy better cards, because Sean is the type of person who's playing this game who takes lower end cards and just gets rid of them because they rarely, if ever, help. Because why keep a 1 or a 2 or even a 3 when I'm going to start fighting things that are just more powerful unless I just desperately need a 3 for a combo or something to try to get a certain point requirement. Because the rules, higher numbers win except for 0. If I want to beat 3 3 can beat 2 and 1 and 0. But if I have a 4, that beats 3 and 2 and 1 and 0. And 5 beats my 4 and so on.
Yes.
So you might as well not...
If your deck's not full of 9s and 0s, you're doing it wrong.
Basically what he said. But yes, competitive Pokemon. I know how tedious... Half the reason I have that PowerSaves sitting in my drawer was because that let me gin up. Well, technically, I don't use ginning codes in the PowerSaves. I edit legitimately caught Pokemon to be competitive, but I do that because it's more conveniently sound for time reasons, because I'm not going to be on my high horse and say, oh, the grinding is part of the experience. It's just unfortunately a part that over the years they've slowly begun making less tedious, like the Pokepelago. Max out the EV training center. You get 4 EVs a training session. 30 minutes are a training session. You can have a Pokemon train for 99 training sessions. That means you can get 252 EVs in 63 training sessions. So if you were EV training that way, you just leave and you get 3 different training groups that can hold 6 Pokemon apiece. So if you want, so you can have 6 Pokemon training for 63 sessions to get 252 speed on 6 of your Pokemon, and then you have 2 other training facilities where you could be training 12 other Pokemon for different EV spreads, and you just leave the game running overnight. And this removes a lot of the tediousness where you just need to math out, okay, I'm getting 4 EVs every 30 minutes. So that means I need to math out how many training sessions I need. I need 8 EVs, but I get 4 every 30 minutes. So that means if I need 8, I make this Pokemon train for 2 sessions, come back in an hour. I've got the 8 EVs I needed in this EV spread.
Makes me wonder how the Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee is going to handle this. Because if that game is, entirely self-contained to Generation 1.
Okay, guys! So I have a few questions this time. Okay, so the first question. What are your opinions on the current Generation 7 competitive Pokemon metagame? And now, the next question. Do you think it's fair to use a PowerSaves to create a competitively viable Pokemon if the editing done is just for time saving and the Pokemon you created could have been made naturally? It would have just taken way more time and effort. And now for the final question. Do you guys agree with me that bottle caps are kind of redundant and stupid because of the way they were implemented and the overall ways that they were handled? I would really love to know what you guys think. You can leave your thoughts, opinions, and answers in the comments below, or you can leave them on social media. All my social media links are in the video description. Now, as always, I need to be a shill for a minute. If you liked my video, please hit the like button and leave some comments. If you're new to my channel and want to see more of my videos, please hit the subscription button and subscribe. If you're already subscribed, please ring the bell next to the subscription button. That gives you the proper notifications of whenever I upload a new video. Also, don't forget to follow me on social media. Doing all of these things really helps out the channel, and it really helps our communities grow. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. See you guys next time.